Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 things that millionaires do, and you should too, even if you are not a millionaire yet. Maybe you haven't made it to the big M club yet, but that doesn't mean that you can't act like a millionaire, and that doesn't mean that you can't eventually get there. In my life, I am very fortunate to be able to call myself a member of the M club, but also I have a lot of really awesome entrepreneur friends in my life that I absolutely adore that are millionaires. And you would never even know it unless you actually really got to know them. So I'm gonna cover 5 things that millionaires do and you really need to consider doing as well. The first thing is millionaires live under their means. At least the smart ones. So let me kind of talk through this. A lot of the people that I know that are millionaires, you wouldn't even really know that they are. Maybe you would know that they're successful because they don't drive a beat up car. You know, maybe they do drive a BMW or a Tesla, but just because you drive a BMW or a Tesla does not mean you're a millionaire, right? But guess what they're not doing? They're not driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis, you know, like even though somebody can afford to buy a Lamborghini, I can absolutely go out tomorrow and buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari if I want to. That would be really, really freaking stupid of me to do. A, it's a waste of money in my opinion. I can take that money and I can invest it, right? And B, I don't need a freaking Lamborghini. I'm perfectly fine with my crossover SUV that I have. It's not a problem. So I think that a lot of people think that when you're a millionaire, you gotta show it, you gotta live this lavish lifestyle and show people that you are a millionaire, and that's just not the case. Millionaires that I know, and me personally, don't do that. They are not showy, and you would never even know. They live underneath their means so that they're not spending all of the money that they make. It's called lifestyle creep. As you make more money, you kind of have this situation creep up where you want to spend more money, right? And the key is not saying that you can't spend more money, you absolutely can, but you don't want to get too crazy with it. You want to maybe spend a little bit more money, but make sure it's within your means so that you are not creeping into a situation where you are spending everything that you're earning, you're not being able to invest anything, and you're just YOLOing your money because you're just so excited to have it. So that's something that I strongly suggest you do even now, even if you're not a millionaire, is to live under your means or within your means and don't go crazy just because you can go crazy. The second thing that millionaires do that you should too is they invest in assets over taking on liabilities. Sure, they'll take on liabilities to own assets for the sake of real estate, but what they're doing is instead of buying that Ferrari or that depreciating asset, most of the time they're going to be taking any money that they can and they're going to be investing it. They're not going to be spending it frivolously. They're going to be trying to acquire assets. Acquiring assets is absolutely addicting as hell. Once you start, it's really hard to stop. And this is why millionaires become billionaires and, you know, so on and so forth. Because even though they have more money than they know what to do with, a lot of these billionaires, they are addicted to the game. They're addicted to acquiring assets. That's what they love to do, right? And they love business. So they're constantly seeking out investment opportunities. And the more money you get, the more you're able to do that. So I strongly encourage anybody that maybe isn't a millionaire to consider acquiring assets over liabilities and make sure that you're trying to grow that net worth over time instead of spending it on things that maybe aren't really that important. That doesn't mean don't spend money. I mean, I've been very clear about this. I love to shop at Lululemon, I love to go on vacations, and I love to, you know, enjoy some of the finer things in life, but you do it within reason, right? So that's key. The third thing that millionaires do that you should too is hire professional help when things get complicated. Now, I know a lot of people that are, you know, doing their taxes themselves on TurboTax, and that's fine because typically most people have simple situations. Maybe they're a W-2 employee or maybe they're self-employed, but their business is pretty simple. They have the basic deductions. But if you are not careful, and you don't learn about the different pitfalls for certain things, like contributing to certain types of retirement accounts, combining different types of retirement accounts like an IRA and a 401k and the rules that come with that. There are kind of some pitfalls that you have to watch out for. So it's really good, especially if you have things like stock options that you have, if you have real estate, anything that maybe gets a little bit complicated, hire professional help and make sure it's getting done right. Because if it's not, it can cost you an arm and a leg later when the IRS comes and audits you or something happens or you get some kind of letter saying that you didn't do something correctly, right? So have a bookkeeper or have an accountant, maybe have a financial planner if you want somebody to be holding your hand a little bit. There are definitely a lot of people that you can bring into your circle to make sure that you are getting things done correctly. Attorneys, you want to have a nice group of professionals around you, whether that's, a bookkeeper, a CPA, a financial planner, an attorney. You want to have your team to make sure if something comes up and you have a question, you know exactly who to go to and you can get help and make sure you don't make any major mistakes. The fourth thing that millionaires do is they track their net worth and they make sure that they're tracking their, income and expenses. They are aware. They are paying attention to how their net worth is growing over time. They care about that a lot because they're very in tune with their financial situations most of the time. So they're paying attention to how their businesses are growing in value, how their equities are growing in value, how their real estate portfolio is growing in value, right? They're constantly tracking their net worth to see how they're doing, and that helps guide them to stay motivated to continue to work or to work harder if they need to work harder. Because, hey, you see that net worth dip? Why is that? What's going on? What can I adjust? What can I change? What can I invest in? That they're constantly paying close attention to cash flows and net worth and making sure that they're allocating properly and, focusing on growing that net worth over the long haul. The fifth thing that millionaires do that you should too is they look at their lives, their personal lives as a business. They are seeing their net worth and their income and their, cash flow, and they are really kind of looking at everything in a business-like manner instead of passively just kind of letting things go and not paying attention to how they're running their business, aka their personal lives. They're making decisions in a very methodical way. They're weighing out pros, they're weighing out cons for basically everything you can imagine. I know personally, my husband and I, we are looking at pros and cons of things such as if we're moving or if we're making a big purchase. We're constantly analyzing this as if it's a business decision and it's, a really important decision. So this is something that I encourage you to do because it's going to help you make better decisions and it's going to make you make decisions that you won't regret later. That's the key. We don't want to live with regret. And this is one of those things that's going to help you do that. So the 5 things that millionaires do, and you should too. 1, they live within their means, sometimes under their means. In fact, a lot of times under their means. They can get a lot out of life. They can buy whatever they want, but they don't. 2, they invest and acquire assets over liabilities. This is all about growing that net worth over time, right? 3, they hire professional help when things get complicated. You may not want to take on some things on your own. Just hire some help, pay the money, because that's going to help you avoid major expensive mistakes. Have a team. 4, they track their net worth and they track their cash flow. They're constantly aware of how their assets are growing or contracting, in bear markets or in downturns. And they're just aware, and it's keeping them on track, and it's keeping them working hard or, adjusting as needed. 5, they see their personal lives, their whole entire lives kind of as a business. They're really, looking at every decision that's being made and they're analyzing it as if it was a business decision. They're making sure that they're tracking their finances and making sure that they're, lucrative and profitable as if it was a business. That's something that is really framing. It's all about kind of framing your life a little bit differently and seeing it as a operating business that needs to be profitable and successful versus just being kind of passive about it. All right, finance fam, I hope you found that helpful. If you liked this video, please, that little like button, just hit it for me. Thank you. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you have a video idea that you'd like for me to do, put it in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.